Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. You're bound to be one of those, so I thought I would cover all of the bases to get that out of the way.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Print Island. My name is Richard Askham. You find me today in the bowels of the lighthouse. We've had to come down from the top of the lighthouse due to bad stormy weather. So I'm downstairs in what appears to have been turned into a gym over Christmas. I'm not sure. I think somebody's trying to tell me something. But there's stuff around. Look. There's equipment. We don't want to think about that for now. So but we'll gloss over that. But welcome
Yeah,
to the
also
lighthouse.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm joined today by a man who literally has printed money. Steve Gulliford. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rich. Hi, how are you? You well?
I'm really well, thank you very much, and thank you for
Yes.
taking the time to join me today on Print Island. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and I think I'm going to let you qualify what the hell I'm talking about. You mentioned this when we first met, and that you used to work in the world of money printing. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So I worked for a company called Delarue, the number one commercial banknote printer in the world. I did various roles, but one of the roles I did do was I ran the technical design department for the business. So over the course of the year, we would develop 30 to 40 brand new design banknotes from concept design through to a technical working actual physical banknote, which is probably the best post forgery in the world, for sign off by customers, and then we then convert that data into large scale sheets, send it to our print factories around the world, Malta, Gateshead, Kenya at the time, and they would actually print money. I mean, you do get to a point when you look into these vaults of banknotes and actually you get, it's just money, but to others it'd be £20 billion worth of street value in front of you, and you're going, yeah, it's just £20 billion worth of value. It doesn't make a difference. And did that for like 17 years with the company through various roles, running their paper mill. But ultimately, the last piece was running the design team, which was really a great insight into the complexity of print. Whereas before, I've been very much heavily based on bulk manufacturing of other products as well as banknote paper. But the print is, we start putting all the different layers of litho, intaglio, screen, all that. It's really quite complicated. That's my link into the print world, and probably one of the I suppose saving grace as to helps me when I sit here as Kerno Coatings.
Well, indeed, and I guess out of and I've spoken to lots of people now on Print Island, Steve, but I think you are the only one that knows what 20 billion looks like, and so which is good, and I'm guessing it's a big pile of paper with ink on it. So printing is basically a big pile of paper with ink on it, in its most basic form. But that's. I mean, that's quite genuinely sort of quite a good anecdote to tell around the dinner table, isn't it?
It is, and you have to beware when I bring out the UV pen, and you go, did you know?
Yeah, quite.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know it did that, and when you because we all, not at the time when I worked for Delaware, not only did we print money, we also printed the UK passport.
Okay.
So you found yourself stood in queues in immigration and passport control going, "Ooh, did you know?" to people thinking that could look quite suspicious. Going, "Did you know about this passport?" Kind of
Well,
thing.
I was going to say, as long as you didn't do the classic printer's trick, which is whenever I've been anywhere and I've been fortunate to go on some wonderful tours of places and paper mills and that kind of thing, and printers typically always lean forward and touch the paper. Ooh, look at feel the heaviness of the paper. If you start doing that in a passport queue, you're probably going to find yourself at gunpoint.
Well, yeah, you do, and you try to avoid it, but you do think, and you start looking at other people. If you travel with friends and family who haven't got a UK passport and they've got their own passports, I'm thinking, well, this was printed. Well, have you noticed? If you put a UV pen to this, it shines up. And did you know this? And so yeah, it's quite the topic. I've had my picture taken with what's a £10 note and the £5 when we changed to polymer, for example. We've done work with Disney where we produced a commemorative episode 8 Disney banknote and had all the features on it, so the lightsaber would shine up.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, it's great. I mean, the public, when it comes to the printing of banknotes and passports, there's 3 levels of security. What you see is the overt, what you can see to your face, but all the hidden gems within it which obviously clearly I'm not going to share.
Sure.
There are so many clever
Yeah.
solutions trying to keep one step ahead of the
Yeah.
counterfeiter. The people who work on this designs and the technology behind it are just some very clever people. And I'm very proud to have worked in that industry for what was 17 years. I've still got some
Yeah.
very good friends who very much work in that industry. So
Yeah.
I would say if you want to have something in design, you want to do something a bit exciting and a real bit like woo, then try and get into banknotes design and print, and you'll be amazed as to what is the complexity. Way above just CMYK on a poster.
Well, quite, yeah, exactly. So here's a question. I understand completely the things that you can't tell me. I suspect you've signed all sorts of non disclosure agreements
Yep,
and all official secrets act and all that kind of thing. However, have you
absolutely.
ever in your career as a designer of banknotes put your face on a banknote?
I don't think the press would handle that. To be fair, no. But we have had. So we say that, but there are some great stories of the design team. So well, I didn't actually design, but I ran the team. But some of the people, there was one guy who worked on the passport side of the business,
Yeah,
who we scheduled for these actors to turn up to get into period costume to take pictures, and then from the picture you scan, and then from the scan you start putting all the artwork into it to create it. But they didn't turn up. So what he did is he got his wife, his father-in-law and mother-in-law. They all dressed up in period costumes, and actually on not the new passport, because sadly the passport's not made in the UK anymore, but on the
yeah.
design before there was a page, and it's like that's him. He literally is
Wow,
immortalised on the UK banknote, and it's like,
that's
wow. So
fabulous.
there are some people on our banknotes that actually are people we know that we've had to improvise to put on to create a scene of liberation of cities and go, well, you'd look quite, well, you could do that. Well, couldn't you and stand there kind of thing? So, yeah,
I
so
think
not my
that's
face, but there are faces of the teams that are on these banknotes or passports, yes.
so. Basically, you had a family fancy dressing up day, and made some money with it.
And literally, they made some money, and we, as part of the UK passport, yeah. So,
Wow.
and he's a very successful designer. So, no longer works for the company, works for another company, does identity stuff. So, but no, it's like
That's
when I saw it, I thought I didn't know they did it. I didn't know they did it at the time because they were on a separate kind of like project. And it was like, I mean, is that you? Is
yeah.
that's you, isn't it? He goes, well, here's a funny story.
Yeah, exactly. Well, great dinner party conversation, as I say. So
Yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
brilliant and fascinating, Steve. I think and you mentioned that was your sort of way into the wonderful world of print, and what a brilliant route in. I've genuinely, you're the only person I've ever met that can lay claim to that. I'm sure there are others, but they haven't been on Print Island. So you're unique in that regard.
That's okay. Good.
And that obviously led you into the world that you're now in. Tell me a little bit about the only thing I know for sure about Kernow Coatings is that Kernow is Cornish for Cornwall.
Absolutely, yes. And if you're American, you say Kernow, and we
For
have to put
now,
our colleagues right now. It's Kernow. What? No W? Yeah, no W.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
means
Welcome,
Cornwall. So
welcome to
Cornwall
England.
Coating. So the business itself, though, the business has been operating for is now 52 years. Started by a small group of gentlemen on specialist coatings and went under the name of Western Sensitizers Group. And over time, in the early 2000s, the business then started to trade as Kernow Coatings. So the name has stuck since the early 2000s, and our brand has been pretty much since 2015. So we're based in Penryn in Cornwall. So if any
Yep,
of
know
you
it
are
well.
listening, if you are in Cornwall, you know how much of a pain in the ass that
Mm.
really is to get to. It's not the easiest place, but it's been here. We're established. We hold quite a footprint on the industrial estates around here.
Hmm.
We do everything in house. So we do all our R&D on site. We do our distribution, all our manufacturing. So we have a global footprint across the US. We have our own US distribution
Yep.
sales arm. We have distribution out of Europe, Australasia, and Asia. So quite the footprint. Producing this, what is an absolutely, I come from the world, like I say, of banknote paper, which is cotton based. So
Mm.
when you mention when the banknotes change from cotton to polymer, It was like, oh, hex, like plastic. No, no, no. But actually, in reality, in the marketplace that we operate in here in Kerno, our synthetic polyester, polypropylene print media, it's just an absolutely amazing, robust, almost virtually indestructible product that actually you never knew you needed in your life, but everybody does.
Well, and that's the thing. And not only did they not know they needed, they probably don't know they've got. I mean, give us your sort of top three products that everybody uses on a daily basis that use your product in them.
So generally, what will happen? Top three. So generally, like through COVID, is our product took off, but we still use it now very much so in duty frees and airports, but also supermarkets and stuff. Is our product called Floor Shark, which is an anti-slip printed media, which creates a skin like shark. So that's why I called it Floor Shark. So it's not the actual printed colours of the texture; it's our actual coating we put onto it, which is print receptive for dry toner or latex, and then put it down. R10 slip rated. So during COVID, we had all these keep 2 meters apart signs.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
I remember.
they were predominantly all from our material and other competitors as well. But that's one of our main products is Floor Shark.
Yeah.
Generally, if you go into any kind of restaurant, probably more nationally than generally Cornwall, but going more nationally and go abroad, if you find yourself having a menu and it's not laminated, because lamination is our enemy. So paper with lamination is like, it doesn't last. It deteriorates very quickly and looks really rubbish. But if you've got an actual paper on you with a menu that's actually all one piece and it's kind of feels plasticky, you suggest that our product or similar from our competitors would be, that's what you'd be doing. And then we have, well, what else can we do? So digital wallpaper.
Okay,
So
that's a hot
we work
topic.
with a third party to produce a latex inkjet receptive wallpaper for digital. So, and that's becoming quite I mean, you look at the market, what you can actually print and then put on your wall. I mean, I always say about that product is, I've never been a wallpaper man. I can't hang wallpaper for toffee. I really can't.
Yeah.
But
I've
I
never
make an
tried.
exception for some of that because it looks stunning. And some of the examples we've seen around the world there, where we can see it, but we can't shout about it because there's exclusivity about it all.
Right.
And you're thinking, yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? It's amazing what you can do.
Well, it's a hot topic, Steve, and I'm really pleased you brought that one up actually, because one of the reasons that we created Print Island was to give the print industry a loud hailer, if you like, to be able to tell the world what's possible with print. Because in so many ways the world doesn't know, and yet every day the world uses something that's printed, possibly all day. And wall decor, as it's become known, wallpaper is one of those products that people don't know that you can digitally print, and therefore you can design your own. You don't have to spend a lot of money with the people that try and sell you wallpaper because they've done all of that design work. I'm not suggesting for 1 second it's a replacement. It's just an addition. And every time we say, and you must see this all the time with not just trade shows, but I'm talking about when consumers realise that you can do this. Because if they don't know, why would they ask, right? So one of our jobs on Print Island is to bring forward the information and watch as people literally go, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." That must be the phrase you hear all the time.
Yeah, it is. You go from, well, you don't have to laminate. What do you mean you don't have to laminate? I want to put something outside in the lovely wintry, blowy conditions of Cornwall. I'm pointing out that way because it's a pretty gopping day here in Cornwall.
Yes, it is here too. Yeah.
And it's like, no, you have to laminate it. What? I don't have to get the heater out. No. It will put that in a dishwasher. Throw ketchup at it. Throw anything at it. It will wipe off, and you put it into your dishwasher, or you clean it, and it'll be as good as new. It will last forever. It's light fast.
Yeah.
Didn't know you could do that. Yeah, think how much time you spend. And then you get into wide format and you're going, well, we just launched a new product called Event Shark. Same as Floor Shark, but for events. So temporary, but the same slip. You can pick it up and put it down. What? So I can reuse it? Yes, you can. And then like with wallpapers, you can literally take in a sample. You can take in a picture of your granny if you want to, and if you want your granny printed all over your wall, you can go into these specialist printers and say, "I'd like this on wallpaper, please." And okay, well that you can do that. You can literally just
Yeah.
digitally print it on it. Give me a couple of days. I'll do a whole roll of it. It'll cost X amount, and we can have made wallpaper made out of recycled material, self-adhesive, traditional,
Mm.
and we have different colours. And then where we enhance our colours, base colour, then add colour on top of that with white, and then all the other colours of embellishment.
Yeah.
You get a virtual popping 3D effect. And you're thinking, wow, yeah, you don't have to go. The days of you walking up and down Homebase or B&Q in the wallpaper aisle trying to find something that's going bling to find your feature wall, don't bother.
Gone. Yeah.
It's
Create it
something
yourself.
you want.
Yeah.
Get hold of them, and the industry will now be able to print it. It's absolutely, the embellishment, the application based, what printers can do now, the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, what Ricoh, Canon, HP, Oki can do now with a printer means that we have to produce such specialized material that is robust, that can qualify across all of them. But when you start to see what it is we can produce in return, it blows your mind. I mean, we did a thing in the US on our Printer United exhibition.
Yep.
Where we worked with Color Logic and Greg Horn, who is one of the official Marvel cartoonists.
Okay.
And on our material and other materials from our other competitors, and then using 3 or 4 or 5 OEMs, we produced a series of all these Marvel prints that on day by day, each OEM or each supplier like us had a different print. You had to go around all the stands if you're a massive Marvel fan, which luckily I am, hence the Hulk's up there. It's like, wow, get that today. And then Greg Hall went and signed it. But you look at how that poster is popping, you're thinking that was printed on silver. What do you mean it's printed on silver? That's silver, that is. It gives a real popping base, and then put the white underneath it, and then put all the colours on top. And it just blows your mind. And there's a lot of wow. There's a lot of wow. Didn't know. Wow. Didn't know.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because everything that you've just described, and if I'm right, it's all entirely possible. It's all entirely plausible. It's relatively inexpensive compared to the cost of, as you say, walking around a homeware store and trying to find somebody that can make the thing that you want. Because always the thing that you want is the most expensive in my experience. And it's all available today. So, how do we tell consumers? Because the only way to grow the print industry in a big way, as far as I can see, is for more people to know what it's capable of. And yet the print industry seems to be always quite reticent, other than to tell each other. And this is the notion that I talk about on Print Island all the time. We talk to ourselves on an island, but how do we get that information off the island? What are you doing about it, and what would you do about it?
So, I mean, what I love to do about it is I love to get hold of everybody, end consumers, printers, OEMs, the whole shoe man. Say, look, it's in everyone's interest to shout about how great all this stuff is. Getting the name out there, getting the application out there, getting those videos out there. Did you know this is capable on? Because when you go to an exhibition show, you go to Printer United, you go to Fest, but great. But everybody going to that is either an OEM,
in the industry.
a printer, or a supplier. Okay? And ultimately, if you go to like Paul Manufacturing, for us to produce it, we need a printer wanting it. A printer wanting it needs a customer needing it. So we need to get the customer to understand they need that in their lives, and where can I get it from?
Yeah.
Well, and then people go, well, I'm a bit skeptic. Can I? Should I? Well, here it is. Here is your sample. Here it is being printed. Here it is on a wall of celebrities. Here it is on a wall of your favourite hotel brand. Here it is. But you can't. Everybody seems to clam up and don't want to say either A, where they got it from, or B, showcase and shout about it. Yet somehow, if we don't, how
it's
much growth are we stifling by not shouting about it? Because we can only grow internally within our industry, and it's really quite frustrating. So what we're
I
trying
think
to
it's
do here at
unbelievably
Kerno,
frustrating. Yeah, go on, sorry.
it is, and I think what we're trying to do here at Kerno is very much so. When we do find somebody who's willing to shout about it
Hmm.
and allow us to have social medias about it, we're jumping on that and we're
Yeah.
taking it. And what's worked really well for us here in Cornwall is charities.
Okay.
We we very much support many charities here in Cornwall. The two biggest being the Children's Hospital South West and my lovely Cornwall Air Ambulance,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
who we very much sponsor. And with charities, you don't want to take, you just want to give, because charity world is one where they need corporate support. And what we do in return is that we supply materials to many of the charities, these two predominantly Air Ambulance and Children's Hospital. And what we ask in return is, do you mind, can we have either you applying it, you using it, can we film it? And necessarily, if you post it, can we then take your post, put it into us, and then we repost and rebrand? Look at this in application. And that's worked really, really well for us, because we're not on a give it back to us. We just want to use the social medias and use it as case studies. So we've done stuff with with menus, and that's for the Fisherman's Mission, Air Ambulance. We've done running bibs for Children's Hospital South West, the posters, the flyers. We've done stuff for the hangar of the Air Ambulance. All on our products. Actually, all we want to return is the social media part of it, so we can shout about it. And it's maybe, how do we use that model to get? How do we persuade the likes of the big OEMs to say, yeah, okay, let's shout about it? I mean, trying to get somebody, a lot of our OEMs want product for trade shows. Fine. I'm going to print this and going to have a little sign on the door, on the side of the printer, saying, this is printed on Kerno, blah, 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 X printing. And it's like, okay, we've asked for it for free. We've delivered it for free. What we are trying to ask more of now is, actually, we'd want somebody, one of us, our team, on your stand with you, shouting about it at the same time, giving it the airing, giving it the time to say, yes, and I work for the company. What else can we do? This is, and it's like pulling teeth at times. It really is.
Well, it is, and that, again, one of the reasons that inspired me to create Print Ireland is not to talk back to the print industry. It's to talk to people that don't live on the island, and it's interesting. And you mentioned Cornwall Air Ambulance there, which I'm a great fan of, mainly because they saved one of my oldest friends' lives a few years ago. So we will be forever always be grateful to all the air ambulances around the country. But secondly, and you've kind of just made my point for me, because what tends to happen at trade shows is somebody maybe shouts into what's already an echo chamber. And what they don't do is shout beyond it. And I wonder, and everything that you're describing to me, and how we do that and how we change that. Yes, social media is one way, but I genuinely think that the time is right now in the world that we live in for a consumer print show, not a trade print show. Because I think if people came to the NEC or to Excel or to one of the big box places and walked around like they do at Grand Designs and like they do at the Ideal Home exhibition and like they do at all of the consumer pointing events that exist, if people knew what they could do with print, printers would be inundated. And all we're doing at the moment is telling other printers what other printers can do, and that's not enough in many ways. So I'm on a soapbox about this, Steve, and I think we should do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree, because one of the things that just a little bit of paper I had here, we call it tapping into convergence. But basically, one of my business development manager in the US, that's where he lives, he's global, is charging a mission with us to see how do we sell beyond the standard norm of selling. And this is about convergence is about applications. So we've got all these great samples that we put on our stand in Print United, be it a little small place of the stand. But it's like, did you know you can make a box out of our stuff? For example, you print it up, you can fold it, get the right design, cut it up, you can make a box, you can make shapes, you can make whatever you want to.
Yeah.
The world of print isn't necessarily about a flat piece of media. It's about what can you do with that and how do you make it exciting. And did you know? So
Yeah.
I would I definitely support a consumer, because then you get all of us going, did you know?
Yeah.
Look what you can actually get and make from print.
Yeah.
Beyond a menu. A menu's very exciting when it's got your favourite food in it and it looks grand. But if it does something else, it's all like a transformer. When you buy a transformer, yes, you have a truck. It turns into a robot.
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Print the same.
I genuinely think, I'd love to watch the look on people's faces, if nothing else, to watch the look on people's faces when they realise what things can be done with. When I say modern print, I'm sounding like an old fart, but I'm talking about, the print industry is now essentially the tech industry. It just doesn't know it. And the world that we live in as consumers is buying tech and using tech all the time. So this is just another technological solution for a problem that we all have on a daily basis, and yet nobody's talking about it. And as a sort of a 30-year-old veteran of all sorts of businesses and marketing and so on and so forth, when you have something really cool, if you don't tell people, you shouldn't be allowed to have something really cool. Part of the job of invention is communication, isn't it?
Well, it is, and you look at we can go back to world of banknotes. The innovation and technology now, what you can apply and insert and hide within a banknote. From machine readable features through to optical changing features. And the good thing with banknotes is everybody touches a banknote every single day. They all have banknotes.
If you're lucky.
And they're going, if you're lucky. And it's out there, and it's how do you get what we can do out there to the consumer, the end user, the person who touches it every day, who is 90% ignorant of what they've got in their hand because they just don't know what it can and cannot do.
Anytime you have a shock for whatever reason, whether that's pandemic, whether that's war, whether that's politics, whatever it is, I always think, and I've done it myself, so I say this from experience, business is very good at changing direction. Because if you can't go this way, you have to go that way because you have to go somewhere. Nobody can stand still. It's just not possible. And I think, certainly from my experience of the print industry, probably one of the more agile and nimble industries that I've come across. When you consider it, against something of a similar size, like the automotive industry, for example, if people stop buying cars, they can't really do anything else other than make less of them. So there is a nimbleness, I think, to the thinking of most modern print businesses, and Kerno, I think, at the forefront of that in the world that you exist in. I like the little bit of optimism, just enough to keep you sort of, nose above the water. But if your nose is above the water, then you're winning, aren't you?
But it's come with some more grey hair.
Yeah. Oh well. Do you know what? I call it wisdom, Steve, rather than grey hair. So I think that's how we all learn as we go through life. But you have the one advantage, of course, that we started this call with, is that you could always just print some money.
No comment.
No comment. That's the best answer. Listen, Steve, thank you so much for joining me on Print Island today. It's been fascinating to hear a little bit more about Kerno, what the world that you operate in, and hopefully, and I wish you good fortune for the times coming to you. But thank you once again for joining me on Print Island today.
Oh no, thank you, Rich, for inviting me. It's been good to have a good open conversation. If I do ever print money, I'll let you know.
Please do. Take care.
Yes. And